Alright, cool. Just let me... Hello everyone, this is Blind Adam of the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast. I'm here with Frank Martin. How are you today, Frank?
Hey, I'm doing good.
I can't complain at all. You want to learn a little bit more about your book?
Sure. My book is called Modern Testament. It's an anthology. It consists of 3 standalone tales. They're all written by me, but they all got different art team, different penciler, inker, colorist. And they basically revolve around biblical beings in our modern world, you know, angels, demons, and such. And I got volume 2 coming out next month, and I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. How did you come up with the concepts for the anthology?
Well, I kind of took a comic class a couple years ago, and it was just script a short story, and I wrote a short story about an angel, and I was like, what can I do with this? I can't really do much with a short story, so I figured, let me run with the theme, and then I wrote one about a demon, and then from there I just said, let's just keep putting them all together, so I figured make an anthology of one, and I got it picked up, lucky enough to get it picked up last year by Insane Comics, and then he asked if I was interested in doing more, and I said, sure, run with the idea, started thinking of other kind of creatures and biblical beings to write about, and here we are.
Ah, cool. Now you have 3 different artists, anchors, and whatnot, all 3 different parts of the anthology?
Yeah, I'm trying to mix it up. I got the same cover artist, great cover artist, Jonathan Rector. He's going to be, I'm planning on putting out 4 volumes. He's going to be doing cover for all 4, but I'm trying to mix it up as far as working with an art team on every single story. So if I get 4 volumes, 3 stories for each volume, 12 art teams. I mean, I'm meeting definitely a lot of talented people, a bunch of different styles, and I think they all come together nicely.
That's awesome. And it's just a straight up anthology. Like the demon and the angel doesn't intertwine at all.
They're all standalone. Well, I ran into some trouble with the first one because the first one is an angel demon, and then the last story is a horseman of the apocalypse. I chose famine for the first one, and then at that point, if I wanted to do more, I kind of had to with the 4 horsemen. I kind of had to say, look, if I wanted to keep doing horsemen, I either got to run with the same idea because they're all featured. They kind of have supporting roles in the first one. So I'm like, you can either take the horsemen from the first story and then continue them on to the second, or I can do a standalone, completely different horseman, in which case every story has to be its own standalone thing. And at the end, I think that worked great because I didn't have to try to intertwine this whole universe. I could treat each character as their own theme, see what each character really means when you put them in our own society, and I got to really focus rather than trying to work some big grand story that might they lose the characters individually.
That actually sounds like a cool concept. Doing an individual story in each one of the horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, I wanted to do famine first because everyone's focused on death and everyone's focused on war, and then nobody really talks about famine. So that was the one that I first started with, and then of course now that I got 3 more, I got to give each one of their time to shine. So the war and the pestilence and death that you see in the first story are not the same ones that you see throughout the rest of the series.
I'm starting to like this. You can get volume 1 through www.insanecomics.com.
You can.
I'm gonna have to pick up a copy or 2 to check this out now.
Yeah, Insane did a nice promotion where I was picked up. I was one of their first releases back in May, so I was fortunate enough to sign on with them. So I've been with them for a while, and then James, the publisher, he was grateful enough. I believe all the books that were released last year, he's offering digitally for 99 cents, which is kind of a steal.
Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere on his Facebook feed throughout the last couple weeks. So how did you get hooked up with James and Insane Comics?
Well, I had when I had the first book, I had it completely finished. I didn't create a pitch, and it was. I mean, putting it together, I knew it was going to be tough trying to sell an anthology because people really aren't interested in anthologies. They're interested in an ongoing series. So I looked for publishers, and I found a bunch of really independent small guys, and submitted. And I had a couple bites. There were a couple people that were interested, and one of them was Insane. And speaking with him, he just has such a passion about what he does, and he really puts everything he has into promoting the books and making and building the brand. And I was kind of impressed, so that's why I stuck it out with him. Yeah,
James is great. When he was looking, he put a post out for. I told this to Winston last week. He just had this thing on Facebook. I'm looking for podcasters to interview my creators. Does anyone want to do this? And went to go see Superman versus Batman with my brother. I came back 2 days later, and I was like, why do I have 6 to 7 friend requests?
Yeah, because he's really taken the idea of he's had a lot of people submit to him, and he wants to sign on everybody he thinks is good, so he's got a whole laundry list of creators, great guys. So he's got a little posse, a little entourage.
Yeah, it's actually, since I've been interviewing all you guys, I now feel like I'm a part of the Insane Comics family myself.
It's pretty cool because meeting them, I mean, it's great to network, find other writers and other letters and such, and we've actually combined our efforts and put together, I don't know if you've seen, we put together a little horror anthology that was released in February, where we call it the Insane Asylum.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, so that was very cool that we all kind of came together and put together our own Insane alumni book, sort of.
Like I said, I really think you guys are one of the up-and-coming studios.
Yeah, I mean, the key is you just got to kind of keep at it. You can't get back on your heels and not be releasing stuff for a while. You got to constantly be churning out material, churning out books, which is tough because just generating one book is hard enough. So to compete with the mainstream comics and the big two, it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, definitely. How did you first get into comics, out of curiosity?
Well, I was a big prose writer guy. I read a whole bunch of short stories featuring anthologies and novels and novellas and stuff. But I always read comics, reading them for 15 years now, since I was a little kid, regularly. And I was like, I love writing. Let me give a shot at writing comics. So that's how I took that comic class that I was talking about. It was an online comic class. And I was like, let me just wing it. And it's totally different than writing a regular story. I mean, the keys of storytelling are the same, good characters and pacing and such. But scripting out panels, it's a whole different ballpark than writing a regular book, you know?
Yeah, I hear that. I've taken a crack or two at screenplays, so I hear you. So, now you said you had one story's about a demon, one story's about an angel. What is the third story normally about?
The first story, so what I'm trying to do is the first two stories of each volume are going to feature different creatures. So in volume 1 was an angel, demon, and then I, as I was saying, the last of each 4 volumes is going to feature a different horseman of Apocalypse. So the first one was Famine, and then in this upcoming one, I mixed it up a little bit because I was surprised when I tried to look for more creatures and beings to kind of flesh out and write and put in the spotlight for stories. There really aren't that many. I was surprised. I kind of searched everywhere. But so the second volume will feature a golem.
Ooh, nice.
And the behemoth, the land monster, the land creature, and War, the horseman of war. That's going to be volume 2, which is coming out next month.
That's nice. Now your digital imprint.
I'm sorry. Oh yes.
Alright, cause I'm still getting a little bit accustomed to how James does things. So so that's cool.
He puts together a nice book too. The printer that he uses. I was when I first got it, I was surprised by the quality of the book.
That's.
I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see it.
Not yet. I'm actually going to. I've really only gotten more and more familiar with everything about Insane Comics in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And I've also had like I told you the other day, I've been dealing with a car drive crash. Then my laptop died. Yep, unfortunately. Never been so grateful for warrant keys in all my life. So I'm down to like my iPhone, and that's been my way to the outside world. Are you doing the convention scene to promote the book at all, or?
I'm trying to. It's so tough because I got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. My time is so limited. I got probably like an hour, 2 hours every night to fit everything I need to do in my entire life within 2 hours span at the end of the night once everybody's asleep, which is why we're doing the phone call so late.
Yeah, that's as soon as you said you had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, it's like, yeah, I can do it at 9 o'clock. Which is cool because I got to watch Legends of Tomorrow right before this.
Oh, I just got done watching last week's episode.
I won't spoil it tonight. But what do you think of the show so far?
Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I like it. I do like it. It's not a great show. As long as you don't expect it to be a great show, you can enjoy it. It's a fun show. You got to consider it a fun show.
I like it. I think it's fun. I like what they're doing with Captain Cold. The only thing I think my only complaint is I think Firestorm comes off a little weak.
Yeah.
You know, the Jax character is just like, where do we put him?
Well, that was the kind of the whole problem that a lot of people have with the show, was that they created all these great supporting characters, and are like, what are we going to do with them? So it's kind of like when you cook a lot of dinners over the course of the night, of course of a week, and then Friday comes along, and you're like, what do I do with all these leftovers? And you just throw them in a pot and make a big soup out of them.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. They took all these supporting characters that they didn't know what to do with, and they threw them all together in the show and see what turns up. Which it doesn't really make a great show, but it's fun just to throw them all together. The greatest. I've been surprised with how well they've been doing the fight scenes, the team fight scenes.
Yeah.
Those have been fun.
I also like the pairings that they've been doing throughout the episodes too.
Yeah, when they go on their little missions and they separate.
Yeah. And the episode of the season has still been Star City 2046.
That was my yeah. I actually, after I watched that episode, I had to put a tweet out that that episode was better than every episode of Arrow this entire season.
Yeah, I love Arrow. I don't know if you're caught up with last week's episode. I really don't know where they go from that.
Yeah. I haven't really been a big fan of Arrow this season. I thought it dropped off.
Yeah, and of course the MVP of all three shows is still The Flash.
Yeah, I remember when last summer they do the extended previews, the extended trailers, where they make like the 8-minute long trailer of the show.
Yep.
Or the pilot, and I saw it, and I'm like, this looks so corny. I don't know if I want to watch this. And then 3 episodes in, I'm like, I can't wait till next week. I gotta watch the show.
See, I was like that with Supergirl, because last year when they showed the 10-minute teaser for the pilot that leaked, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be into this. And then by the second episode, I went at the New York Comic Con panel where they showed the whole entire pilot. I was like, I'm watching every episode of this.
I actually haven't been watching it, so it's on my to-do list. Once I get like 5 episodes in and I haven't watched and I started watching a show, I'll just be like, I'll just wait till it's on Netflix or something.
Yeah. That's right. We're now in this different time where you can wait for an entire season to end and then watch it all at once.
Yeah, I haven't. Well, I'm like that with The Walking Dead now. I haven't watched any of The Walking Dead, and everybody talks about it. So I'm like, I'll just wait till it's done and then just bang the whole thing out on Netflix.
I haven't watched an episode of Walking Dead since season 4. It hasn't been my cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just hasn't been my cup of tea.
I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's funny because at the end of the beginning of the first season, it was like, and at the end of the first season, it picked up, and then it hits these peaks and valleys where you have one episode which is like phenomenal, and you're like, this is great, and then the next episode just completely, you're like, well, where did it go? It's a very up and down show.
And for me, with S.H.I.E.L.D., it was on the same time as iZombie, and I'm friends with Mike Allred, and I've interviewed him a few times for the show. He's been really good to me. I fell in love with the first 2 episodes of iZombie. I was like, I'd rather just watch this.
Oh, DVR, man, DVR. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, no, I'll catch up. But I haven't watched any S.H.I.E.L.D. yet this season, but I'm gonna wait for it to be done, and then I'll watch the whole season.
I also feel this is where they get you. They feel the obligation to, I gotta watch S.H.I.E.L.D. because I'm a big Marvel fan. I love all the movies. You gotta know what's going on. It's kind of like when you read a comic and they put all the crossovers out, and you're like, I really don't want to pick up this one issue just to see the crossover, but I gotta do it. The game is a big play.
And that's why I think like companies like Insane Comics and what you're doing is such a refreshing take for the industry right now. Because it's like, I can just get this one volume, and if I like it, I'll stick with it. If I don't, I'll give something else a try.
People have definitely been, at least not casual comic readers, but the real comic readers that follow the industry. They really are looking for stuff that's different, stuff that's out there. And you can see the market trend a little bit. People are picking up a lot of more independent titles at the bookstore, at least the Diamond distributed ones.
Do you think your book, or Dragon Trio, or any of the other Insane books will eventually be in Diamond?
It's tough. It's really tough to say. Diamond really views themselves as the gatekeepers, you know?
Yeah, tell me about it.
They really don't like opening that gate too much. And they have very strict guidelines of meeting deadlines and such, especially for first-timers.
Yep.
That unless you're going to have that book ready every month, they don't want to hear it. So, and they also want you to have an ISBN number. So you got to invest in that number beforehand in the hopes that you're going to get into Diamond. And if they don't approve you, it's kind of like, well, yeah, if I dumped all the money to buy all these numbers for all these issues, and now it's stuff.
for people who have gotten in, you know, like I said, they don't make it easy for publishers. They don't make it easy for retailers either. So.
And the hardest part about Diamond is that you try so hard to hit all their qualifications, to hit all their check marks, and to make it in. And if by some miracle you do make it in, it's not like you can just put your feet up and count the money. But that's when the real work begins. You got to really sell the book. It's just the first step, you know.
Yeah, and the way Diamond works, I know when it comes to independent publishers, those are the publishers that can push to the back of the previews catalog and.
Yeah, and then to get back to the previous catalog, and you got to really contact every single book, you got to contact every single store, and really sell yourself. It's by no means that you're like throw a party once you get into Diamond. You basically bought yourself a lot more work. So,
yeah, but I think, let me ask you this, because especially in today's convention scene, which I love, you know, I really think you can make a go with it without previews for a while, without being in Diamond, just by, if you put a good marketing plan together for conventions.
That's definitely possible too. I've heard a lot too that you really have to find a nice niche hitting the convention scene, because there's some of them it's just not worth it, especially faraway ones that are huge. They make it so hard. They're called Comic Cons. They're really not Comic Cons, you know. They're just fan cons. They have everything. So to buy it, if you got to drive there, you got to drive there. Then if it's an overnight thing, you got to pay for the hotel. Then you got to pay for the booth. And then by the time you rack up all your expenses, how many comics can you possibly sell to break even? So you really got to pick and choose and find out which ones are going to be the most profitable for you. So, but it's definitely doable. I know James has been working really hard figuring out which ones are worthwhile for him to do, and he's making a go at it. And I think it's been pretty successful so far.
That's cool. So is there anything, you know, upcoming convention-wise that you guys know you'll definitely be at?
For Insane Comics?
Yeah.
I know, I believe James has a tab on his website that lists the conventions that he's going to be.
Alright, so just www.insanecomics.com. I thank you, James, for sponsoring the podcast, by the way.
So I believe he lists them all, and I think he's branching out too, where he's trying to test the waters in different places and to see what works and what doesn't, based on maybe travel time, based on foot traffic. The good thing about conventions too is that rather than just put your book in the store and hope it sells, you get face-to-face with the fans, and they get to see the art. If they read the story and then they come back, they can tell you how they liked it. You get actual real-time feedback from people on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's one of the nicer things about it. So, have you ever had to deal with writer's block as a writer?
Writer's block? Not particularly. I don't think so. I mean, there are times that I just don't want to write, but I like to think I'm plagued a little bit, where I have too much to write and not enough time. So any chance I get, people make fun of me because I carry 3 phones with me wherever I go. I have a personal phone, I have a work phone, and then I just have an old phone with a flip-up keyboard that doesn't even work. It can't make calls, but because of the keyboard, I can type on it. I can write on it.
Nice.
So if I'm online at the grocery store, if I'm in a doctor's office, or I got 2 minutes to kill, I can actually flip it up, and just writing 2 sentences is a big deal for me because I never have time to write otherwise. So,
that's cool. Just I've been, you know, like I said, I have a screenplay in my head, and just getting it down to on a keyboard is. I have days when I can write 3 sentences, and I just have to be happy with that. So I just want to get feedback.
What was where I originally started at, because I was a big movie fan, big movie buff. I want to be a screenwriter. That's what I want to do. So I've written a bunch of full-length screenplays, and I try to make the goal of it as a screenwriter. And let me tell you, that's the hardest one of all. Harder than writing comics. Hardest of trying to make novels. Not the act of writing, but the sheer just trying to get the movie made. You know, trying to break into the film industry. It really is definitely more about who you know rather than how good your writing is.
That's why I'm going the whole YouTube, social media route, film festivals, and just little short things just to get things up there.
Yeah, you got to get rolling. You can't come out guns and blazing. You got to write based on your resources.
Alright, that makes sense. Write what you know.
I actually, I like to tell this great story that I heard about the movie Saw.
Yeah.
You know the movie Saw?
Yeah, I used to come out once a year for a bunch of years there at Halloween.
Yeah. So the first Saw, I was obsessed with the first Saw, and I was watching. I watched all the special features on the DVD because I was so obsessed with it. And the creators had this great interview where they discussed the origins of the movie, and they said, look, we had no money, and we wanted to make a movie. So we're like, how can we make a movie with no money? And they said, let's have two people in a room, and basically they can't leave the room. And they're like, well, why can't they leave the room? Well, it's because they're chained. Or, well, why are they chained? So they basically wrote the whole movie based on their limitations.
That's awesome sauce.
And I thought that was very cool. And of course, that they wrote the movie and they made a short and they pitched it and they ended up getting a studio deal, so they had some money to expand the idea. But I thought that was very cool that they wrote the story based on their limitations as filmmakers, and that's basically what you have to do for anything.
That's a great lesson. Because I was going to just, ask you what advice would you give to someone who's young and being, I want to write comics, I want to write movies, how do I get started? And you basically just answered that question.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a writer and you have a friend who's an artist, and the artist has a specific style, and you guys want to write a comic together, I mean, you gotta look at his style and see what his strengths are, and that's what you have to write the book on. Don't try to just hit it out of the park with something completely obscure the first time around. Write to your strengths, see what works, see what doesn't, and then you can, if you got successful, then you can start branching out and trying new things. But when you don't have much to work with, you gotta use what you got.
Definitely, that makes the most awesome, most amazing sense. Now that we are in movie season, what are you looking forward to for movies this summer?
Oh, movies. I used to watch, when my wife was my girlfriend, we used to watch maybe 3 movies a week. Mm-hmm. And now that we have kids, we watch maybe 3 movies a year.
And I'm sure they're kid movies at this point, too?
Well, yeah, we've actually taken them to 2 movies. We saw Minions.
Nice.
We saw the new one, Zootopia, which was good.
I'm sure as an uncle, I'll be tortured with the zoo one soon enough.
Well, the movies that they come out with now, they're kind of entertaining for adults, too. They figured out the game where they want to make a movie that an adult want to see, too. So, but I still have yet to see Batman vs. Superman.
Alright, don't go into it just as a fan of a good movie. That's all I'll say without spoiling anything.
Of course, being friends on Facebook with tons and tons and tons of comic and movie lovers, I've seen every single opinion under the sun over the movie, so can't wait to see it for myself. But
I saw it the second weekend, and I had shut my Facebook page off, at the point where I wasn't going anywhere on the internet that had an opinion on the movie for like a week.
Yeah, I've heard people say that it's a complete waste of time, and other people say it's great, so it's definitely polarized, but I can't wait for Captain America, because I'm a big Marvel guy. So,
yeah, I was going to just ask you, because, it's kind of like picking gang membership with the big two. Are you more Marvel or DC?
I would say I'm more Marvel, but I'm not like a diehard Marvel guy where I think that everything that DC sucks. I mean, I read DC books, I like the characters, I go see the movies, but I just kind of, I don't know, I gravitate more towards Marvel. I grew up more with Marvel, but I'm not to the point where it feels like a gang, where anything that DC has to do that I'm going to put down.
No, I'm not the same way. Just because I grew up initially a DC guy. And then, because of my visual impairment, I discovered Daredevil. I became a Marvel guy. And then I just became like a Frank Miller guy.
Yeah.
And now I'm just a fan of it. As long as it doesn't stink and, if it entertains me, then it's like, good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I read a little bit of DC, I read a little bit of Marvel. I try to dabble in a little bit of everything as far as what I pick up on a weekly basis. Because
I'm at the point where I read My Little Pony number 41 the other day, and I was like, this is entertaining. I'm trying to actually get IDW to get me an interview with the creator with Katie Cook. So that's why I just started reading everything that she does.
Well, you got to be prepared, right?
Yep.
Got to do your research.
Yeah. So what are you reading nowadays?
What am I reading nowadays as far as comics goes?
As far as comics, as far as other book series that are good.
For comics, I think one of by far my favorite Marvel book is The Division, written by Tom King.
I still have to check that out. I'm loving the Scarlet Witch book.
I have not picked up the Scarlet Witch. That was one I kind of wanted to take a look at it after Secret Wars ended, and there's just when they finish something like that, like a universe-changing event, and then they come out with all new number ones, and you look through them, and you're like, I want this, but I can't spend $250 a week, so I have to pick and choose which ones I want. So, unfortunately, Scarlet Witch got the axe, but I was interested in the Vision, because I haven't really been a huge fan of the character, and I wanted to give it a shot, and the book is really unlike anything else that Marvel has out there.
I'm gonna wait for the first trade to come out, and then because with me it's a time thing. You can only read so much during a week, and it's just like, or I'll let that wait.
I'm sorry?
I said it's just like certain things I just have to wait for trade.
Yeah, I'm not a big trade guy. I mean, I'll read trades if I miss something, but like older, like before I started reading comics, I want to catch up on something. But as far as new books go, I really don't pick up current comic trades for some reason. I don't know why. I figure if I missed it, I missed it.
Yeah, I can respect that.
This is definitely one book where, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say that now because I've been reading it, but it's that good that if I had to recommend it to somebody and they were in my position, I would definitely tell them to pick up the trade and read it.
Sweet. Modern Testament has a religious theme to the book. Is that something you did, purposely?
No, not at all. I was just kind of at this point, I view it more as a mythology thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody would write a story about Hercules or Zeus.
Uh-huh.
It's not really religiously themed. And when the book first came out, and I had a couple people reviewed it, and they said, hey, I couldn't really get into it because I'm not a religious person. I'm like, but it really has nothing to do with religion. It's more of a mythology thing. But I'm sure I can obviously see for a religious person how those two can be intertwined, which might come into effect, which I'm sure will come into effect when I hit the volume 4, because volume 4 I plan on taking out the big dogs. One story is going to be about God, and one story is going to be about the devil. So we'll see how that goes over.
Ah, nice. Well, I'll say on that one, be prepared for the protests. I have a friend who has a publishing company who got protested by a couple of religious groups over at New York Comic Con last year.
Oh, I wish I had that publicity.
But
what they say about you, as long as you're saying something.
Exactly. I just found out about last year at New York Comic Con. Allegedly, there's a group called God Hates Comics.
God Hates Comics?
Yep. And I was like,
that group.
And I was just like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just, and they were there at New York Comic Con protesting.
I remember a couple of years ago there was a game that came out called Dante's Inferno.
Great game.
You played it?
I know people who have.
So when the game was at E3 or something, some type of show, there was a protest going outside because it was about a guy going to hell.
Yep.
A bunch of religious nutshots outside that were protesting. And I was like, you're protesting about a video game, I gotta be into that game. So I ended up buying the game and playing the game. And then it came out that the protest was actually a marketing stunt. It was organized. I was like, that was brilliant.
That is a cool publicity stunt.
Yeah, they had a bunch of people outside picketing with signs, picketing the game convention. And it was just a bunch of they were hired actors. That's right.
Well, E3 is in Los Angeles, so yeah, I guess that could be pulled up very easily.
My first interaction with religious protesters was, I forget how old I was. I was young. I went to go see Dogma when it was in the theaters.
Yep.
Movie. They were protesting outside when we came out.
Because that was the movie I was protesting the protesters at.
I was little, and my mom took me to see it, and then we left the theater, and I'm like, Mom, what are they doing? They go, don't worry about them. I was like, well, why are they mad at the movie? I don't get it.
That whole group of, you could just put that into much energy into, hatred like that. It just baffles me.
How do they have the time? That's what I want to know. Who's got the time for that? I don't have time for that.
Yeah, same here. It just irritated me because they really weren't nice to a couple of my buddies who were cosplayers, who were helping out people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And just like, so I said, hey man, I'm a vendor here. I'll give you a pass. Go in and you will see more love and more respect in a comic book convention than you will out in your little so-called real world. And I don't want them to take me up on it. I was kind of disappointed.
That's true.
And I'm going to thank you for your time. I'm going to thank you for doing the interview with me.
No problem. Thanks for hooking up with me.
Thank you so much, man. I'm definitely going to check out the book. Now that it's I've been made aware of it, and I will help promote it in any way I can.
Sure. I got a, also as a bonus, I've been putting together a Modern Testament short for release on Free Comic Book Day. Digital shorts.
Nice.
So it's kind of like a preview. It's only 5 pages. It's totally original though. It's not in the book, and it's just on Free Comic Book Day. It's going to be released digitally through Insane Comics. So that's going to be kind of a bonus that we haven't even announced yet. So.
Nice. That's awesome. That's a nice way to be involved with Free Comic Book Day. That's great.
Yeah. So I'm actually more looking forward to that than I am the actual book, giving away pages.
That's cool. What's the actual release date of Volume 2?
I'm sorry?
What, do you have an exact release date for Volume 2 of Modern Testament?
I don't. It's going to be in May. It's just we like to hold off on release dates because we don't want to give a date and then we get hung up with the printer.
Yeah, I hear you. It's actually a nice, safe way to do it. All right, man. You have a great night, and we'll definitely be in touch for Facebook.
Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Cap V, Viewfind I, India, IE, Viewfinder, Image, Apps, Home, Cap H, Cap V, I, Viewfinder, E, W, Viewfinder, W. With App Switcher, Cap Close Camera.